Quinnen Williams was one of the biggest acquisitions of the trade deadline this season, and he made an instant impact in his debut with the Cowboys against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Him and Kenny Clark quickly showed that they are going to be one of the most disruptive interior defensive line pairings in the NFL, and in this game, Quinnen finished with 4 total tackles and 1.5 sacks, which is more sacks than he had through his first 8 games of the season as a New York Jet. Now, with the type of scheme that Matt Eberflus likes to run, which is really 4-3 centric and prioritizes on having 4 down linemen, having 2 really strong interior linemen on the field is so critical because in passing situations, it's so hard to be able to double team both interior linemen. It's just not going to have enough bodies to be able to do that. So you're going to get one-on-one matchups for Quinnen Williams or Kenny Clark or Osa Odigizua as a result of that. And that happens here on this one. So the Raiders are going to run a fake toss play, and it's a play action. So you're going to get that toss motion here from Ashton Jeanty. This guard is going to pull around to block Clowney, which means you get a double team here on Kenny Clark with the guard and tackle, which leaves Quinnen one-on-one with the center. And the center stands no match in this particular instance. The way that Quinnen is able to bend around him, rips through, gets back, is able to get a hit on Geno Smith. You may be lucky that it wasn't roughing because it was a low hit, but nonetheless ends up being a 4-yard loss because of it. And again, that's the type of great pressure that you're going to be able to generate with having 2 great interior linemen on the field. You only have 3 interior offensive linemen. Often you're going to have the tackles in one-on-one or want to slide a guard to them. So you're just not going to be able to double team both of them. Quinnen or Kenny Clark, I think, are both capable of being great pass rushers. Quinnen, I think, is even in that next tier of being a great interior defensive lineman pass rusher. You're going to get a lot of these matchups throughout the rest of the season with those 2 or Osa, in the mix there as well. Here on this next play, Osa ends up getting the one-on-one matchup, and you have Quinnen who's double teamed, and it just doesn't matter. Both of them beat their matchups essentially at the same time, and I'm going to pause it right here. As Geno comes out of his play fake and turns around, both the left guard center double team has been beat by Quinnen Williams. The right guard has been beaten by Osa, and they're both in the backfield. Geno has to jump to even get the ball off. It's dropped by Ashton Jeanty. But the way that Quinnen is able to quickly beat the left guard here on that swim move, and again drives upfield before the center is able to recover and get back to block him and split the double team. The pressure is just too instant and in the face of Geno Smith, disrupts the throw. It wasn't going to be a big play anyway had Jeanty caught it. Again, the pressure on the interior of the line is so tough for quarterbacks to deal with, especially on play actions where you have to turn your head to the defense. Coming out of your fake and seeing that exact look through where you got 2 300-pounders bearing down on you, it's not fun for any quarterback to deal with. Still takes a shot as a result of it. It was a rough night for Geno, and I can imagine it's going to be a rough night for a lot of quarterbacks moving forward, with this type of defensive front now that the Cowboys have put together on the interior. On the very next play, Quinnen picks up his 2nd sack of the game on a 5-man pressure here from the Cowboys, so you're going to get another slant here by Quinnen going from really a wide 3 technique, almost a 4-eye, slants across face into this A-gap, pass rushes against the center. He's replaced by 50, who blitzes down as a result to make the 5-man pressure. And I'm going to run it first at normal speed and then really kind of break down the pass rush rep a little bit slower because the technique on this one is absolutely beautiful, the way that he's able to lift and rip through the center, picks up the sack on Geno Smith. So if I run this one back at slower speeds, walking through the technique and the hand fighting that Quinnen puts on display here, you get that first motion out by Jeanty, but watch that inside arm. So as soon as the center engages here, you're going to see this center's right arm is going to go up. So he's lifting his arm off of him, and then he's going to immediately use that same arm and rip across the center here to get that inside rush and continue to work up the field. Gets the leverage. Now, at this point, you could also argue that this is holding. Doesn't matter. Quinnen is just too athletic and too powerful. It's that scary blend for an interior lineman that makes him so disruptive. Geno has nowhere to go because the pressure is thrown right into his lap. And that's why I think being able to pass rush as an interior lineman is so valuable because, as an edge rusher, there's a lot of ways for a quarterback to, maybe get out of it. He can step up through the pocket. He can kind of roll out away from it. When the pressure is coming right into your face like this, Geno has nowhere to go. There's just no real opportunity. You see, he tries to step up. There's nowhere to step into. He can't step to the left or the right. He just has to end up eating the sack. Quinnen, what a great debut for him. Quinnen picks up another near sack on this play, lined up essentially in a 5 technique, head up on the right tackle. They're going to do a twist here with him and Ezraku, so Quinnen is going to be the trigger, so he's going to go first. Ezraku is going to loop in behind him. And just, again, the power that he's able to play with, it's so dangerous because he can beat you in so many different ways, right? And so just trying to essentially spring Ezraku free on this twist, he's just so dominant. He ends up busting through the double team himself. Geno ends up getting it away. They call that an incomplete pass. But just the power that he's able to play with, this is why I think he's going to be able to elevate this entire unit. Everyone benefits from adding an additional, pass rush weapon when guys are able to be that dominant. Again, not even as the, what the twist is for, trying to spring Ezraku free, but still able to get through the right tackle there, picks up the QB hit on Geno. Again, he was, not having a good night, was not able to stay on his feet or clean at all, and Quinnen was a big part of that. And look at him dancing over there, big fella. You deserve it after this type of game. Last play I'm going to show for this film breakdown. I wish there was more run tape to really get through, but for those of you that watched the game, I think Ashton Jeanty had maybe 4 or 5 carries in the first half, and the Raiders got behind. So there's a ton of passing by this Raiders offense. I just really want to leave this one in here because it showcases the athleticism and the effort that Quinnen plays with. They end up running a tunnel screen here to, I believe, Michael Mayer, who's in the slot. And, Quinnen is lined up again in that wide 3 technique, diagnoses the screen as he engages on 61, sheds off, and just big man moving in space, ends up picking up the tackle on the screenplay there with linebacker Shamar James. So just overall, I think a really great debut. Wasn't able to showcase all that he can do because, they weren't really pressuring Dallas at all in the run game, but picking up 1.5 sacks in your debut is certainly a great way to start your tenure as a Cowboy. And again, hope to pay off the high price tag that Jerry Jones ended up paying to be able to bring Quinnen Williams into the fold there in Dallas. So that's going to do it for this particular film breakdown. Cowboys fans, go ahead and drop in the comments what you thought about Quinnen and really the defense as a whole. The Raiders are not the greatest litmus test of teams, right, to be able to compare against. Their offense is a little devoid of talent outside of Jeanty and Brock Bowers, and their O-line isn't a great unit overall. But nonetheless, I think that there's a lot that can be pulled from this individual game and hopeful that the Cowboys can build on in the back half of the season. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like, hit the notification bell so you don't miss another upload. And if you have any particular film breakdowns or players that you would like to request me go through their film, drop that in the comments as well. As always, I appreciate you, and I'm out.